What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Up here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel, we're doing it again. Even if the sims crash, the streams have problems, we don't quit, we keep going. That's kind of the definition of making it through this thing called life. So here we are again in Minnesota. Last stream flight, we came in, we used an Airbus A340. We came into Minneapolis, St. Paul. And because my wife and I, and some of my kids, not all, because some were born in other states, lived in Minnesota, we are going to kind of explore it today in this Saab S340. Now, we're flying for Silver Airways, so we'll be Silver Wings 318. But this route is, these routes today are fictitious. This airline is predominantly based out of the southeast of the United States, i.e. Florida. So anyway, we're running some routes to see if they want to pick them up for the airline is what we're doing, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on. Let me check this old trusty phone here. And okay, so anyway, let's get on and get going. And today we will be trying our Pack X out. So let's go ahead and stop the music and we can get on board. And we can already see that those passengers are most certainly making some noise in the background there. So we got a passenger count of 30 and boom. So yeah, about 24 minutes until takeoff or so. We'll do 20 minutes. And flying time is actually 45 minutes. Okay. Let's see, we'll get some boarding music going on here. All right, so what you hear now is boarding music from my PAX program. So they're going to be getting on the aircraft while we get it ready. As you guys can see on the outside, we did have some ground power. So now that that's all squared away, let me get some of my stuff back up here so I know what's going on. All right, let me check the volumes here really quick. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so we are on board, so let's go ahead and get this thing turned on. Left battery, right battery, and we can go right in. The bus is already tied. It's in the auto position, so we can go ahead and
on behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your large and carry-on items in the overhead bin.
All right.
Items underneath the
See him back there working diligently.
For any of your carry-on items, please use the flight
Okay, let's go over here and start getting our instrumentation
if the overhead
turned up.
Is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with
all right, just getting some stuff here turned up so we can
feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process.
Ensure that we are all squared away for our flight here today. Let's get this panel turned up as well.
Thank you and welcome aboard.
All right, so this is a pretty easy departure. Pretty easy departure here today. Let's go to the map here. First thing we want to do is make sure this is on, following the GPS.
And welcome aboard flight 318. Our flight time will be roughly 45 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now set down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and
we're going to go to Duluth here. And there's really only one waypoint in here, guys. So we just come here and we're going to insert before, which is the Duluth actual VOR. So that's in there. And then really we didn't really need to add it in because pretty much now we're just going to load our procedure. The winds are out of the west, and that means we're going to be doing the ILS 27. So bada bing bada boom. course, once we get there, we're going to be doing a little bit of manipulating of what this is. Even if it's actual IFR conditions, we'll still manipulate it. All right, so we got that all squared away, guys. And let me check one thing out here. Okay, perfect. There's a new view I'm gonna need to make up. So let's do this really quick here, guys. And then I'll check you guys out in the chat. Let's come over here to our X camera. And let's see, let's add one.
Added camera 19 to category.
And we're gonna make this view. Let's see.
Unable to find view ID 15.
We'll make it 15. Let's see, head shake. We can get rid of it on this one, of course. Just simply because there's a few different things in here that you have to do and you need a view, and I can't do it with my track R, so that's all I'm doing really quick, guys. Which this is basically all I need to do right here. I need to be able to see, this is where you manipulate the course. And yeah, I'm gonna need to be able to see it over here, so that's kind of what I'm doing. All right, that should be good to go. Okay. Saying some of them have the same different views: 2, 3, 11, 4, 5, 6, 4. See. Let's try something here. Okay, that's all I care about. So they're all saved. They're saying there's some views that are all the same, but I don't care about that. All right, let me check you guys out in the chat here. Drew Stone, what's going on? Thanks for checking in, my man. And just checking out my views here to make sure they're all copacetic. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Cool, cool. So that is squared away. So now let's go ahead and get our the weather here. Make our calls and get out of here. Let me double check just to make sure that we don't have any ATC on the VATSIM network. I don't think we do either. Okay, we most certainly don't, so we're good to go there. So we don't need to do any of that, so we can basically just get our own ATIS here. So the winds, okay, let's see here. So winds right now are out of the south at 3 knots, so I think we're still going to end up taking runway 32 simply because it's only 3 knots. So we'll still, it's a very, very light crosswind, so we can still take runway 32 and the altimeter is 3021. All right, 3021, and this side will just be QNH, and then of course we're going to go up to flight level 15,000, or that's actually not in the flight levels, just 15,000 feet. That'll be our cruise on this first one, guys, and we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and come out here and get rid of that ladder, close that, and we're actually not going to do a GPU start, so We're just simply going to, let's do one thing first so I can get you guys oriented on the field. So basically, if we're going to take runway 32, we're just going to go ahead and taxi straight here until we meet Bravo. We'll take Bravo all the way down to Alpha 32, and then we're out of here, guys. So that is that. So we can get this back here, and then we're going to be going direct to Duluth, of course. So we need to be going on, having our heading go to about a heading of, let's say 30 maybe. That way we can intercept, and we'll do like 35. There we go. So that way when we take off, we'll go ahead and start flying what we need to fly. So before we can turn the ground power off, we need to turn those two situations off. We need to get our beacon on, and now we're getting our ground power off, of course. So let's get rid of that GPU. Doors are all closed. And now we can go ahead and put that fasten seatbelt sign on. All right, let's go ahead and bring our fuel to start. And let's get this thing going, guys. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna open this ignition up. We can still close that, and now we're gonna get the engines up and going, guys. Starting the right side, as you can see.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt
All right,
light
she's
is
up
on,
and running.
make sure that your seatbelt is fastened.
You can go ahead and do that to the left side as well.
To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another. Tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. In the event that the seatbelt light is not on, we suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits on this aircraft. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. In case of an emergency and we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor that will guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure and
watch that bad boy come up.
Start the flow of oxygen, pull the mouth towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth.
All right, it's not a bad modeling of the cabin here. Gonna have about 30 passengers on board today, guys. And let's go ahead and double check our fuel supply here. This is in kilograms, so we got more than enough fuel because I added it on prior to in pounds. All right, now that that's taken care of, we can come up top here now and get our generators on. Gotta go to reset, then it'll extinguish a few seconds later. Same thing on the right side, go to reset. All right, now we need to make sure the prop area is all clear of any ground equipment because we're going to take it about a feather to the minimum. All right, and you're going to witness those props come on up. All right, so basically they went out of alpha into beta right now. All right, now we can go ahead and get our avionics back on, and we can get those bleeds all on. Get those valves up, reset. Let's get our recirc fans on as well. And let's just jump up top, make it a little easier for ourselves. So this valve here too, we need to get it to reset and then to auto. Got to do it for this one too, to auto. So don't forget to do your hot air valves right here as well as your bleeds to auto right here, guys. And most of the stuff you have to reset them. Now, of course, we can get our prop heats to normal. There we go, and get these on. There should also be a standby pitot heat that we're getting on right there as well. For takeoff, we need this auto coursing on, and we also need to come down here and put the seat tot on. This is for takeoff only. And now let's come down here, of course, and even though we don't have any ATC, we'll squawk 2200, enter that, and we are going to go to squawk altitude reporting, enter that. Now we also need to figure out what the Unicom for this, well actually we need to just be on Unicom, so we're going to be doing this because we're on the VATSIM network. If we were flying real world, we'd actually pull up the chart. So there's no big worries there, guys, and we are looking good. Say we did already set our altimeters. That's checked. Let's go ahead and get our flaps down. But before we do that, let's come over here and get some flight controls on for you guys. All right, flight controls should be free and clear as far as the cameras are concerned. And we got Rock City, big up. What's going on? Bowling Boy 2009, how you doing? Everybody, thanks for joining the stream. Sorry I've been kind of rambling here, but here we go. And Juicon says all day long, you know it, bro. For sure, guys. All right, so we're going to Duluth, Minnesota, guys. It's about a 45-minute flight. I'll be telling you guys about some geographic landmarks. I used to live in this state. My wife used to live here as well with some of our children. So figured we'd do this tour. So everything here looks like it's set up. Let's go ahead and get our flaps down. All right, flaps are set to take off here, which is 15 degrees, and it's also going to be indicated as well. So we are good there, guys. And the bird is pretty much ready for departure. Now all we need to do is our call outs, and we're going to be departing out to the north. All right, do a quick check here. Check this phone here. I got my daughters out picking up some stuff. All right, perfect. All right, so guys, so where we're at now, just to let you know, this is a field. It's called, let's come back in here so you guys can really understand. So we're not at the main airport. We're at a field called, it's downtown airport, and this is, all right, she's telling me ready to go. Downtown St. Paul, Minnesota, Holman Field. So we're going to refer to that as Holman Field, not St. Paul traffic, not to confuse it with the other field. Bowling Boy 2009 said he's doing good. I'm doing well too. I'm blessed. I appreciate you asking and checking in and following the stream. All right, let's get out of here, guys. St. Paul, Holman Field traffic. Silver Wings 318 is a Saab 340. We'll be taxiing to runway 32 for departure to the north via Bravo Alpha for Holman Field, St. Paul traffic. All right, guys, so we're all good to go there. Auto coursing is on. We're straight. We are good to go. And now we just need to get the taxi light on. And, of course, we need to come outside and do our official check. You guys know that's always mandatory. So there's that Silver Wings livery that we got. We're looking all official here on the ramp. Passengers are all buttoned up. Now, before we do our flight controls check, guys, we have to come down here and you have to take the gust lock off. So there's a little click spot right here. You'll move that and then you'll see this part right here. It actually says gust lock. You just move it up. Now the flight controls can be checked. So we're going to go full up, pull down, aileron left, aileron right. That's looking good. And then now, of course, we're going to go rudder right and rudder left. All right, flight controls are free and clear, and let's get these armrests up here. All right, armrests are all up, and oh, one other thing that we do here is we do our flight timers using this. This is what I've been doing lately. So once we get to the runway, we'll just reset this one, and then we'll get it back on our actual visual mode. Okay, guys, let's go flying. Parking brake is released. I dream of flying Silver Airways someday, Bowling Boy 2009 says. Me and you both, man. Me and you both. But in the meantime, we can just enjoy it here right in the sim and feel as real as ever. All right, guys, and I see some other chats popping in. I'll check that in a minute. I'm going to give you guys a nice, smooth taxi here, best as possible. So what we may be doing today, first leg will be to Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota is literally about 3.5 to 4 hours north of where we're at now, and it's right on Lake Superior. So you guys know Minnesota is a Midwest town or Midwest state. Hasn't gotten much good news publicity late because of what events have transpired there over the past few years, but I did live there and survive, so there you go. It's a beautiful state geographically speaking. Like I said, it's a landlocked state, but not necessarily, because there's 10,000 lakes there, and it just doesn't have any access to the ocean. But anyway, I used to travel up there for work all the time. I had a couple of employees up there. I was a supervisor for the state of Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs. So we're going to go up to Duluth really quick. And like I said, by car from St. Paul, it's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive. And we're going to come right into Duluth. We should get a good look at Lake Superior if the weather permits. And then from there, we're planning to go on over to pretty much a native town called Bemidji, Minnesota. There's a reservation there. I used to go and do some work there as well. And then we'll probably bring it back to St. Paul for this trip. Or we might actually, you know what? We might end the trip in Rochester, Minnesota, which is where the Mayo Clinic is at. All right, we're going to be joining Alpha here in a second, guys. And before I depart, I'll check you guys out in the chat. I'm just trying to drive this aircraft somewhat sensibly here. You got to be pretty useful with the brakes here, man, because you know these turboprops, they will definitely taxi a lot faster than you want them to. So we'll take this all the way around, and then we'll get ready for immediate departure out of here, guys. Rock City Strong says, not sure if you're going to be on between now and Thursday, but happy Veterans Day and thank you for your service. Oh, I appreciate you for saying that, guys. Yeah, hopefully I will be on between now and then, but Drew Stone, I really appreciate you saying that. And as well as Rock City, I appreciate you guys, man. Very thoughtful, and that means a lot to me, man. So I appreciate you guys giving me a big look on that. And if you guys are veterans yourselves or have family members of veterans, thank you for your service and or their service, and thank you for supporting veterans like myself and, of course, the active members that are in there now. All right, guys, so we're just going to roll right onto the runway. Let's get that strobe on. There we go. Downtown St. Paul traffic, Silver Wings 318 entering runway 32 for immediate departure out to the north, climbing unrestricted flight to 15,000 for downtown St. Paul home and field traffic. All right. There we go. I actually hit the button. Home and field traffic. Downtown St. Paul. Silver Wings 318 is departing runway 32 for departure out to the north, climbing unrestricted 15,000 feet downtown St. Paul home and field traffic. All right, guys, and then finally, remember what I said? We're going to restart our flight timer. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to get it back on the map position. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our condition levers. We're going to bring them all the way up to the max for takeoff. And guys, it's time to get out of here. The only other thing we're going to do, and we'll do an IS climb once we get out of here. The only other thing we're going to do is put this on the heading mode. And actually, we can also go vertical speed mode here. All right, there we go. Now we're going to be following our flight director, guys. Let's get out of here. Make sure that's on GPS. All right, final checks are complete. Advancing takeoff power smoothly. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive. 80 knots cross check. All right, V1 and rotate. Yaw dampers coming on as well. All right, first stage of flaps. All right, autopilot is engaged there. Let's make sure it follows that. And here, our flaps are coming all the way up. We're going to get that IAS climb, and then we're going to come down here, and we are definitely going to go direct to Duluth. So we'll activate that, guys, and come right over here to the nav. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we should be on course and climbing. Downtown St. Paul traffic. Silver Wings 318 is clear of runway 32, climbing out to the north, unrestricted to 15,000 for downtown St. Paul traffic. All right, guys, so we have our official rollout. Gear is up. So you can see flaps are up here and clean. And now we can bring our power back to climb power. You can hear those props come down a little bit. We can go ahead and get that auto coursing off. And we can also get that CTOT off. And there's another button over here we need to get on, which is our prop sync. All right, so aircraft is now climbing. Let's ensure that it is on course. And then, of course, we need to get a flyby going on. But the first thing we want to do is make sure we have captured our course, which we have right on course onto the Duluth area. We are climbing an indicated airspeed. And we have a pitch up right now of a little over 2,000 feet per minute. Let us do our rusty dusty flyby. All right, guys. Bowling Boy 2009 says, I'm getting a new PC soon and hope to get X-Plane 11 on it. I wish you best of luck with that, Bowling Boy. It's funny, I'm in the process of building a new computer with my brother. So I know how that journey can go. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get it so that you can get on X-Plane and hopefully give us some streams. All right, guys. So we're climbing pretty smoothly here, passing 6,200. And yeah, so far everything is looking good here. Let's go out and get a prop view here. We also got a view set up for behind the wing as well, but I figured you guys would like this view as well. And really quick before we get into it anymore, as promised, okay, let's get those we get rid of those controls there, and let's get a little bit of geography going on here. Okay, so if we come here and look out the right side window, we can't see it, but right now we're over a lake. It's called White Bear Lake. And yeah, we're right over White Bear Lake. And there's one actually to the left too. And off to the left, we are passing Mounds View, Circle Pines. And a bunch of these places are actually, that you see here, they're actually parks that have these nice big lakes. Of course, Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, so you can see them everywhere here, of course. So we're heading north. If anybody's familiar with Minnesota, we're pretty much right over or traveling the same direction as 35, which south of the Twin Cities is just 35. Coming into the south portion of the cities, it switches off to 35 west and 35 east. So 35W and 35E.
Gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000.
So right now,
You can now turn on your larger
we
portable
are
electronic
pretty much
devices.
parallel in 35E,
As a
and it'll turn in back into regular
reminder,
35.
and do not
The
contact
35 does that as well in
the
Texas as well, so
This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi.
just so you guys
If
know that.
need to connect to the Wi-Fi,
All right,
we'll
we're almost to
require
10,000
you to
feet here.
We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information.
All right, so now we can go ahead and get the landing lights off, of course. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's get that logo light on too, just because we can. And we're continuing our climb at our indicated airspeed. So we have less than 5,000 to go, since it's going to be a nice, easy climb out here today. We can also get those ignitions back into the normal position. Ignitions are cross-checked and back into the normal position. Engines are performing marvelously. There's nothing in the red. Batteries are good. Props are good. Yeah, guys. So not too bad of a takeoff here. One thing that we need to look at over here too is our pressurization panel. Let's get this to the auto position. Yeah, we don't want to mess around with pressurization. We'll be in a bad way. We're planning on landing, guys, at runway 27 in Duluth. As you can see, it's already programmed in here. And 1087 is already up here too. So that's going to be our approach into the Duluth area. And if you want to go ahead and take a look and see what the airport diagram looks like, we can do so as well. Let's not be remiss in checking the health of our aircraft as we climb, which we're still doing good. And of course, let me not be remiss in checking the chat here. All right, everybody's doing good. So we are going to be coming in on runway 27, which you can see right here. So we're going to come in west, and this is another side of the ramp, but we're probably just going to bring the passengers over here straight to the terminal area. So we are essentially going to back taxi all the way alpha, all the way to the end of the field, and come right here to the terminal area so the passengers can disembark. So we're going to land off to the left. Maybe we make Alpha 3, maybe we don't. I doubt we make Alpha 4, so it looks like Alpha 2 or Alpha 1. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully the winds are amicable to us. So let's go back over to our approach, and runway 27 will pull right back up. So now we can get it back. Let's double check our flight plan. We're direct here. So this goes right into the arrival. But what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up vectoring ourselves to just be a regular downwind landing, because we won't need to do the procedure turn, because I'll make sure we are descended where we need to be, descended down to where we need to be anyway. So you can see right here is Lake Superior. We come in right at the mouth, and then right in this area right here, there's a nice little bay area. They got some ships docked there and all that good stuff. So we are just about to reach our cruising altitude, and we can see we might want to put those props right between 12 and 13. So we'll do about kind of center line in between these two, where the props at now and where it says 12 and 13. So we'll give it about 1250 or so, and that'll be our cruise props. All right, cruise power is set, and we're cruising right along. We're still going to continue to pick up a little bit of speed here, and yeah, guys, we're flowing right along over the great state of Minnesota. And what we'll do now is we'll get that altimeter in for the next field, and I think we have a brief moment where we can maybe rock some music here. All right. So what I'm going to do now, you can see the airspeed here is picking up quite significantly. So now let's go ahead and check the weather for Duluth so we can get that barometric pressure setting into the altimeter. All right, so again, weather is out of the west at 4 knots. The altimeter is 3015. So we're going to go ahead and set that now because we're flying under 18,000 feet. So we'll just get the altimeter at the field. So the appropriate runway is still selected. Now what we need to do is come down here and use our VNAV feature. So we're going to come here. Now the VNAV won't descend us, but you can see here Ando, which is what what I want to be right at 3,200 feet. We'll adjust this. Right now this says above 3,200 feet, but when I adjust this, it'll say at 3,200 feet. So we want about an 1,800 feet descent per minute. Now it'll say at. Now it gives us our top of descent, 13 minutes and 45 seconds until we start descending down into the Duluth area, guys. Then the next flight will be about the same into Bemidji. We'll leave Duluth and we'll head basically northwest. It might even be just due west because we'll already be in Duluth. Pretty soon we should, off the right wing or in front of the aircraft, get a visual on the lake once we get a little closer to Duluth. So well, let's get another look at the bird, of course. Let's go outside. It's going to be loud. So she is smoking. All right, enough of those shenanigans. Let's check out on the stream here and figure out what we got going on here, guys. We're moving right along. Hey, guys, if you're new to the channel, I ask that you please subscribe, drop that like, and share the channel out. If you're returning, I just want to say thanks for all your support and thanks for showing up here and making it even more entertaining. All right, we'll see if Nightbot is awake. I've been trying to get better with the Nightbot, so for whatever reason, it doesn't look like it's connected. So I'm gonna open my Nightbot up. There we go. So Nightbot is awake. So I'm throwing in my Discord there. If you guys want to join it, there is my Discord. And so yeah, I'll get better with Nightbot. I'm still trying to figure out, and if anybody knows the command that I need to put in the chat so we can start checking the meters as well, because I still haven't figured that out, so it's a work in progress. But there you go. So cruising right along. We got top of descent here in a little bit, and let's kind of talk about this approach here. So we got top of descent in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. And we've got flight timer here. We've been in the air for 14 minutes and 42 seconds, so we're all good there. So let's talk about this arrival, guys, which is not bad at all. We did talk about what we're going to do when we land on runway 32, which is go off the left, back taxi Alpha all the way to the terminal. And Drew Stone saying iRoute. Not sure if that's going to work, Drew. I don't think I have that set up, nor do I know how to set that up in Nightbot yet. So yeah, I guess I could set that up really quick, Drew. Let's see here. I believe I'm good enough to set that up at this point. Let's log in. All right, so let's go to custom. We add that command. That's route. And now I can actually put the route in there. So the route today is literally just one VOR. Now we'll see if that works. Appreciate you, Drew Stone, for putting in the meter, which he did right there. And now I just added that command iRoute. So let's try this, see if that works. And I'll start updating the route in my Nightbot as we fly. Really, there's just only one VOR in there, and that would be that's actually just going to be Duluth route. See, as you can see, it's DL8. So I'm getting better with this Nightbot, but yep, you guys can see the altimeter is 3015. What Drew said, the winds are out of the west at 4 knots, so that matches up with what we just got from FlightAware. Anyway, let's get back here, guys. With this arrival, again, we want to just keep an eye on when we need to descend, so we have to go to utilities, VNav, and we've got 8 minutes to descend, so we got to be mindful of that. 8 minutes. Drew Stone says nice. All right, so we got about 8 minutes, which will be 7 minutes here in a minute. So boom, boom, boom. All right, back to our charts. Now let's expand this and let me show you guys what exactly is going to happen. So right now, what it is, we are planned to go Duluth, right? That's what we're direct to now. And then if we were going to do the procedure, we would actually fly over the runway, and then we would do a procedure turn. Is what you're seeing right here. This is a procedure turn. So the outbound, you would hit here and go 48 back to 228, and then get a heading out of 273. But instead, what we're going to do, instead of doing that, we're going to do it to where we get to Duluth, and we're going to do downwind after Duluth and vector ourselves for a nice left downwind. Once we're basically going to join the pattern, and then do a nice left downwind, left base, left final, and be right on our way to the runway, guys. So that's what the plan is. So in the meantime, we continue to cruise. The aircraft is doing quite nicely. You guys see that? I really didn't adjust anything additional on the power. I just adjusted the props to fly right at about 1250 here, right between 12 and 13. So that's what we're doing. That's what we got going on. Got my business partner calling. I'm gonna have to call him back. All right, send him a little message. All right, and everything else is looking good, guys. So we have descent here coming up pretty soon. We'll get the passengers off, and we'll get our next flight plan together, which I already actually have ready to go for us. We'll be needing about the same amount of fuel. The next flight is going to be a little shorter, 40 minutes. And our altitude that we're going to be cruising to on the next flight is going to be 16,000 feet. So another 1,000 above that, but that's because we're going to be traveling back west predominantly for that flight route. And yeah, and ironically, our alternate is going to be Minneapolis, St. Paul, so we have to keep about 3 hours of fuel on, because I mean, I wouldn't choose that alternate. There's other alternates that we can land in given the aircraft. I know a couple other fields that we could land in that would be pretty much copacetic. Then once we get in the air headed to that route, we're going to most certainly think about getting our flight plan together, because I think we're going to fly to Rochester for the last route. I'm just getting the altitude alerter set up to the 3,200 feet. All right, 3,200 is set up in the altitude alerter. And you can see here, there's our top of descent, which basically is going to line up with whatever we have in here. So 4 minutes and 20 seconds is when we get to that point. That's what I love about this Reality GTN 750, that it does give you visual cues as well. So that's where we'll start our top of descent, guys. You can see the winds are kind of have us yawing, so the winds must be coming off the left, coming out of the west. So the aircraft is yawing left to make that a, let me see if I get wind report here. I'm not sure if I get the winds here or not. Yeah, okay, so No winds there, not reported on here, but we can definitely tell where we're getting the winds from because of how the aircraft is performing. All right, guys, we're making stuff happen. How many total routes will be on this flight? Bowling Boy is asking. Well, for sure, 2, this leg and the next leg to Bemidji. And then I'm thinking, because the flights are so short, we will go ahead and jump up and head on over to, we should be able to keep the stream to about 3 hours and get 3 flights in. That's the goal here. So we'll be landing and doing a quick turnaround, going to Bemidji, and then depending on how we feel when we get to Bemidji, then I believe we're going to take a haul on over to Rochester in this bird. So that's kind of what we're planning on doing, guys. Turn those tunes up a little bit for you guys until we start get to work. Still got a little to go. Once we get onto our descent on approach, we have to remember we need to turn our auto corset in. There is no reason, there's no icing here that's going to be detected. And we'll get our CTOT on, we'll get our prop feathers off, and go from there. Of course, then once we get downwind, we'll have to adjust our ILS course heading, which that's why I set up a different view, which is this view, so I can get here and be able to set it up here, of course. So, green light, what's good, what's good? Green light in the house. Thank you for checking it out. The green light, just to let you know, we are going to Duluth, which is Kilo Delta Lima Hotel right now, if you want to jump on. And the next field that we're going to is Bemidji, Minnesota, Kilo Bravo Juliet India. And I believe Rochester is Kilo Romeo Sierra Tango, which would be the last one. But we'll take one. We're going to take one stream at one step at a time, guys. So, all right, guys, so we're getting close to that top of descent.
Vertical track.
All right, when that vertical track comes up, see that top of descent in 1 minute, guys. See that? So now we'll keep it on the map. And what we want to also set up, guys. So let's go ahead and start that descent. So now we got to pull that power back. All right, 18 clicks. You actually have to count them out, and it'll get us, see that? Our top of the descent has happened. Duluth traffic, Silver Wings 318 is the Saab S340 is now at a 15,000 direct Duluth for 3,200, expecting runway 27 full stop for Duluth traffic. All right, guys, let's go ahead and shut the music down and get to business here. All right, Bowling Boy says, what is your favorite aircraft and next plane? I'm gonna be honest with you, Bowling Boy, I really don't have one. I have many that I love, which is basically all of them. That if I fly it, I love it. And you know, there are some simulations that are better than others, but I can't say particularly that I have just one that I like. Really quick, before I answer any more chats, what we have to do is, right, if I want to turn myself downwind of the runway perfect, once I get to the Duluth VOR, we need to know what the downwind heading is. So let's go into the charts. And so the primary approach heading is 273. So the reverse of that would be course heading 93. So now we're going to come over here and get that course heading over to 93, which is basically due east. So we're going to come right here on the east. This one's kind of primitive. It doesn't give you the actual numbers. 1, 2, 3. So once we get to the Duluth VOR, I'm going to put it in the heading mode, and we will be pretty much basically perfectly downwind, and we'll use our map for orientation into the field. Let's see. Oh, let's come over here, guys, and take a look. Here is Lake Superior, and this is kind of a homecoming for me. And there, see this little channel right here? My wife and I and her family at one point had decided to, and here's the little harbor area of Duluth, which is beautiful. But we decided to rent a, we went to a, and here's a little wonderful bridge down here, which is the Duluth Bridge. But anyway, we rented a camper because I didn't have my own camper at the time. We pulled it up there and we camped up there, my wife with my in-laws. And we rented a boat, and the boat broke down in this channel on the way to the harbor. Funny story, man. All right, so you can hear my staff in the back getting the bird ready. All right, we're at 10,000 feet, guys. Landing lights are coming on. And let's look and see how close we are to that Duluth VOR before we overshoot it. All right, we've got about 12.4 nautical miles until we make our heading change. Pull that power back just slightly. And let me check you guys out here in the chat, man. So we're going to be landing here soon. Drew Stone says his is the Zebo, and I do love the Zebo. Like I said, guys, there's just way too many aircraft for me to specifically say. I'd be lying to myself if I said there was one in particular, which there's not. My daughters are on their way home. All right. All right, guys, so we will be landing here shortly. We are just now passing under 9,000 feet, and we are looking for that DME to make our turn. We can also find that down here on the HSI. We got DME of 8.7 miles, 8.6 now. So before I even forget, guys, you know I'm so horrible at this. Let me get those flight controls on for you guys, and then we'll get to work. All right, flight controls do look free and clear. Now, what I did notice in this aircraft too, normally I don't do a whole lot of replays, but I'm going to do a replay today, and even if it crashes, we'll just reload the aircraft back in, if that's okay with you guys. So if we can, so here's the Duluth Airport. We're about to turn downwind. We'll come in here, and you can see the terminals right here, guys. So we have the field right in front of us. All right, and actually about 5 DME we'll be good to make our turn. Keep ourselves about 5 nautical miles from the field. And we're 5 DME now, so now we're going to make our heading change. Aircraft is definitely going to bank right. A lot of cargo ships come into here, guys. A lot of cargo ships come into this area. All right. Enough of those shenanigans. We did make our turn. We're almost to our target altitude. Now what we need to do, guys, here in preparation for landing, let's see. So we're going to be basically downwind, so we need to turn this to where it's on the localizer, and then this is where we need to make sure our heading is set up for 273 in our course heading, which right now it looks like it is. So we're good for our course heading already of 273, 240, 250, 260. Let's see, actually it looks a little off, so let's fix it. Okay, so that's perfectly due west. So we need 3 clicks. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 3 clicks, and now let's go ahead and take a look at our map. There's Ando, so here in a second we'll get just north of that and start going to work, guys. Duluth traffic, Silver Wings 318 is a Saab 340, currently downwind of runway 27. We'll be doing a left base here with the call out for runway 27 full stop for Duluth traffic. Alright, let me check you guys out in the chat. And Zumba Yango Tanky says, hello Dre, how you doing? Olin Boy 2009 says, I can't fly X-Plane right now because my computer that I can't play it, so I don't really know. Got you. And he's just responding to what aircraft he likes the most. Alright guys, so with a nice check, see there was that procedure turn that we were going to do. It's even actually telling us to do the procedure turn, but we're flying it manually now. So let's go ahead and do our left turn. So we're going to go basically due north now. Right over the water. And Zumba YT says he just passed his VATSIM exam. Well, congratulations to you. Alright guys, so we're making our left turn. Then we'll make another turn. It's going to be a pretty brief turn if you see here. So now we're going to be basically perpendicularly direct to the field. And then we'll make our left turn and get on the ILS. But we needed to be 3,200 feet right here, which we're definitely at that altitude. And you can even see the ILS information as coming on board here. So that's a good thing. And you can also see on our ILS information here on our bearing indicator that we are perpendicular to the ILS as well. Once we make our turn, this bar will come down indicating that we are capturing that lateral pathway, and then obviously the glide slope will come on, and then we'll bring her on in, guys, for our first arrival into our regional flying here in the state of Minnesota. Again, we are Silver Wings Flight 318. Planned full service to Rochester, Minnesota via Duluth, Bemidji, Minnesota, and then Rochester, guys. Speeds are looking good. Now, one thing, I keep looking down here, but just to let you know, since the ILS information is on board, I can also follow this. So as this starts coming down, I could make my turn to get it. But I'm also using this here as well for my lateral information. So here in a second, right in another mile or so, we'll start making our turn to a heading of 270. Matter of fact, we can just go ahead and do it now. And as you can see, it started even coming in, guys. The ILS did. Alright guys, so we're making our turn to 270. And I'm also going to arm that approach button. And the localizer is actually captured already. Duluth traffic, Silver Wings 318 is turned to final for runway 27 full stop, Duluth traffic. Alright guys, first stage of flaps coming down. And let's get this bird ready for landing. Alright, auto coursing, it's got to come on. CTOT, got to come on all the way to the approach position. And our prop sync has to come off. And now we've got to go props to full. Props are to full. The localizer is captured here, if you guys see right here. And we're just waiting for this carrot to come down to catch that glide slope. Throwing some more power there. And we're not going to do a full flaps landing, so we'll do flaps. We're going to do flaps 20, guys. Once this starts coming down, it gets to this second dot, then we'll drop the landing gear. Let me check you guys out one more time, and let's make sure landing lights are all on and good to go. All right, Keyshawn, Christopher, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you on board as well. And congrats, everybody. Thank you, Greenlight, for moderating. All right, you can see it's time to get to work, guys. Landing gear is coming down. Another stage of flaps. You can hear that beacon. All right. And let's go for our final stage of flaps. Pull that power back. And let me check you guys out in the chat one more time. Keyshawn says, thanks, bro. We're all good. All right, guys. Stereo cockpit now. It is time for our arrival into the Duluth area. So I'm going to turn both the autopilot and yaw damper off. My controls, my aircraft, yaw damper, and autopilot have been disengaged. Landing gear is down, 3 green, flaps are set, landing lights are on, altimeters are set, and our landing approval has been approved. Landing checklist is complete.
Glide slow, glide slow. Glide slow, glide slow. Glide slow, glide slow.
All right, guys. Definitely an acceptable landing, negative 340. Wasn't the most perfect, but it was just a neutral landing. So you guys see that it says acceptable. I'm definitely happy with that. And looked like it was pretty centerline. So not hard and not a butter. It's just a normal everyday landing here, which is, we're cool with that. Welcome into Duluth, everybody. We're definitely going to do the replay. So even if the aircraft crashes, I am going to do the replay for you guys. So all right, guys, let's roll it out here. I told you we weren't going to make those two, so I think this is Alpha 2 that we're going to make here. So hopefully we get a butta on the next one. Okay, manual braking. All right, condition levers are coming down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 11:31 a.m. and it's currently about 40 degrees.
All right.
Do not use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the default sign is turned off. Remember,
Flaps are coming up.
when opening the overhead bin, items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, thank you for flying with us and we hope that
Landing lights are coming off, guys. Strobes are coming off. Auto coursing's off. Duluth traffic. Silver Wings 318 is clear of runway 27. Is now back taxi into the terminal via Alpha for Duluth traffic. Guys, welcome it into Duluth, Minnesota. I hope you guys enjoyed that arrival. And we'll be taking it on next to Bemidji. We got an acceptable landing, which I am ecstatic about. This isn't the easiest aircraft to fly or land. Trust me, fly it and you'll see. All right, guys, auto coursing is off. Let's get that CTOT off. And let's bring that power back slightly. There we go. Not the power, but the conditioners, so we don't taxi as aggressively as we don't want to. We're just taxiing it in, guys. Sean Christopher says landing was an 8 out of 10. Hey, man, we'll take it. We'll take it. We will definitely take it. Let me check something here really quick on the map. Okay, yeah, we got to go off to the left here to get to the passenger terminal. So yeah, guys, like I said, landing was just a normal everyday landing here. We did centerline. It was controlled. You know, it wasn't bad, and it sure wasn't great. It was just a landing that the passengers can appreciate. Another reason too that it might not have been a butter landing per se was simply because we had a little bit more fuel on board that we needed. So by virtue of that, you're not going to have a perfect, you know, as far as the landing rate's concerned. We're landing a little heavier in this bird. You can see those shocks. I like the way they modeled the shocks on this aircraft big time. You can see it's bouncing up and down the way they modeled those shocks. So we're just taxiing all the way down to the passenger terminal is what we're doing. We'll get her shut down, get some music on, and we'll do a replay and take a look at our landing. Looks like they got one of those Piaggio joints over there. All right, almost to the thing about this terminal, it's at the complete opposite end of the runway. Blue traffic, Silver Wings 318 is on Alpha, taxiing into the ramp, crossing runway 21 for Duluth traffic. All right, guys, you know the time. We got to get our strobes and lights on, crossing the runway here. Runway's clear. Alright, because of the nature of our aircraft, we're not going to go to the gate. We're going to do a little turnaround over here. And they'll bring the passengers in and out. Alright, parking brake is set. Let's get that power to cool those props down. Alright, we're going to unfeather them. And let's get that taxi light off. We have to get our avionics off until we get the ground power connected, of course. And we need to get those generators off. As well as... And we'll leave the bleeds on, that's fine. Okay, let's go for a full engine shutdown. And once again, guys, welcome it into Duluth International Airport. And let's get some music on and get to the replay, then I can get to some comments here. All right, guys, so we have successfully made it to our first destination. And I know what's going to happen, but we're going to do the replay anyway. And I already know what's going to happen. But that's what we're going to do. And we'll have to reload the aircraft. So I'm going to show you guys exactly. Oops, yeah, we didn't disconnect from VATSIM. Shame on us. I'm going to show you guys exactly why I don't do replays. So let's make this replay terrific right now, and then I'll put myself back on camera once we get to the next one. Like I said, we had a pretty good landing, guys. It was definitely acceptable.
sync.
All right. Not too bad, guys, for our first leg. We'll see what we get up on the next one. Bolin says the flight sim I do most, an infinite flight I've done for a few butters. Most recent one I've done was 3 days ago. Looks like Japan to LAX. Nice, Tokyo. But I dealt 767 on the runway as I was about to touch down, but we missed, so almost a crash. Nice. All right, look, guys, we were pretty much. We could have probably did definitely a better flare, but you know that really wasn't bad at all, guys. That was just a nice soft touchdown. Like I said, something that we could be proud again. Let's watch that again one more time, guys. Same view. All right, same view. Very nice. We could have worked a little bit on the flare, kept that nose up. It's almost like we did a 3-point landing, even though the back wheels did touch first. Boom. But definitely could have done a better flare on that. But it was perfectly center line, and definitely looked copacetic on that one. Let's get a couple more views in there, guys. All right. A few more views. All right, so while we're getting the next flight ready, I'm just going to have you guys ride in this view here, and I'll start getting the next flight set up, guys. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and do the inevitable. The airplane is about to most certainly crash when I stop the replay. You guys will see why I don't do replays. And that's why I don't do replays right there. So we're going to get a new flight going. Same aircraft, but now we got to do it out of Duluth. And I bet you guys were like, oh man, his stuff doesn't crash. Yes, it does. All right, so we were at the ramp. And we were pretty much at this spot right here. Hopefully, we'll probably have to get a better pushback, but that's all right. Let's confirm that. Let's go to the aircraft and get about the same amount of fuel that we had on before. Let's see, we need about 2,800 pounds of fuel. Now you can see the payload is pretty heavy on this aircraft. So for us to land like that, like I was telling you guys, we landed with a lot more fuel on there. And that is going to make the difference in when we land. There we go. Bounce right back in like no problem. Let's go ahead and get set up for the next flight here, guys. All right, so let's take a look and see where we're at now that we respawned in. Just like I said, we're gonna have to probably do better pushback, so let me line that up right now before I forget. Because everything's about to happen really quick. All right. All we need to do is get ourselves turned around. Sorry guys, it's really funky how this thing works.
Around the cockpit. Fine acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
All right. Let's get the music off now. Let's get back to work. And of course, I need to get myself and the controls back on the screen so we can head to our next leg. All right, controls and myself are back on the screen. Let's get ready to head to the next leg, guys. So let's do this all over again. And in the meantime, let's open the door and we need to get the GPU on. All right, GPU is on, and I need to do one more thing to get the aircraft ready. Okay, so we are still doing our Saab 340, and I'm just getting my trusty folks on board ready. And I'm not going to be surprised if my flight attendant doesn't know what Bemidji is. We'll see if they've actually got that programmed into PAC-X. Okay, so this flying time, guys, is 40 minutes. And passengers, we booked 30 as well on here. You guys saw that payload, pretty high. And there we go, 40 minutes. Boom, 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 16,000 feet. Time to take off should only be about 20 minutes. And we'll do 15. Just because we quick, man. Get our trusty boarding music going. We are equipped with Wi-Fi. Let's see, flight time entered is invalid. Actually, no, it's not. 0 hours and 40 minutes. There we go. So if we go outside now, we got our passengers all boarding up with this boarding music. That's, I don't know what you call that boarding music. So there we go. Let's come up top now and get our batteries back on, guys. This is going to happen really quick. And now we can get that external power on. Avionics can come on. All right. And we'll turn our nav lights on, of course. And we are getting a definite beacon code here. All right, it's not too bad. We'll just let it happen. Okay, guys, flight plan from Duluth, and we are going to be on our way. So let's go ahead and put these waypoints in, guys. So we are going to be going direct to Maytech. Let me check something here. Let me see the charts and see what departures they have here. So no departures available at Duluth, so that's cool. That's all we need to see. So there's no departures, so we're essentially going to put our flight plan in, and then we're going to figure out what we need to do. Our next waypoint is Maytech, which is a fix.
If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated.
And after Maytech, we go into an Airway Victor 430.
We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart.
And we're going to be exiting that at Buchan.
We are ready to go when you are.
And we'll go ahead and load that. And then after Buchan, we're doing direct to the field.
And welcome aboard Flight 318. Our flight time will be roughly 40 minutes.
Bada bing, bada boom. And let me check my old rusty dusties.
And your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap. Your tray tables and seatbacks must be in the full upright
Okay, guys.
position for departure.
So we're good to go there now. Let's just go ahead and double check really quick what these charts look like there in the Bemidji area. So let's backspace out of there and go. Now to let us check those charts up. So here's runway 31 and runway 13, and that's 7,000 feet. So that'll be the primary one that we shoot for, 31 and 13. And let's see what that weather's doing right now, because we know what it's doing where we're at. Then I'll check you guys out in the chat. So let's see if we can get a great landing or a butter. This next field I've most certainly never flown into here ever. So winds are calm. Looks like before they were operating basically out of the east, or I'm sorry, the west, which in this case that would make for runway 25. Let's see what type of approaches we got here. We got a 25, ILS 31, and VOR. So basically the precision ones we got, the best ones are ILS 25 and 31. Let's go back here really quick. So there's 25. And let's see, yeah, winds were 300 before and 280. So definitely west. So I'm thinking 3-1 is what we're going to do, guys. And just do a back taxi. So now we can come in here and let's see what type of procedures that we have. That way we can just plan for our approach into runway 31. And we might just leave vectors there. Yeah, because there's nothing here that makes sense. So we'll just leave vectors for that. And we'll just load that approach. Now what we can do is kind of give ourselves an idea what that looks like by coming in here to this preview. So honestly, once we're en route, once we get to this Yorby, or even from this here, we might be able to just go direct to this Kosovo. Because we're heading north anyway, so we can just basically do a straight in. So we'll keep that monitor guys, and you can see here we got another approach fix at 3,200 feet, so we'll do our VNAV for that as well. And then this here is for the miss approach, so this is cool too. This will do holds too, if you guys want it to. All right, so now we need to look at the map And there'll be one thing that we need to double check. But you can see pretty much we're going to basically depart straight out, which is nice, to the west. Yep, we're going straight out to the west. And we continue going west, guys. So don't let this orientation fool you. North is the other way. So this is west that we're leaving. North, west, south, east. So we'll be out directly to the west. So what does that mean for us? That means that I can literally put this thing back on this situation, and we can get our flight directors on, and when we depart, we're going to do the same thing. We're going up to 16,000 feet. Once we depart the field, we can just do the nav, and we'll do vertical speed on our climb out. And we got about 1,900 feet on our climb out, which is good, guys. And finally, let me just double check the chat and the ATIS, and then we're going to get out of here, guys. All right, 290, and the altimeter is 3014. All right, 3014. Let's go ahead and get those doors closed. And let us, we're gonna come up top and turn that GPU off as well. Let's go ahead and put the seatbelts on. Turn the beacon on. Let's get our lights back up.
Ground to cockpit. Totally driving up.
We check you guys out in the chat. All right, how you doing, Greenlight? Wish all is well. So everybody's doing good. Zachy D says, hey man, checking in. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for everybody being active in the chat. And we're getting out of here now, guys. So we got to turn our avionics off. And we're going to turn the external power off. And let's extinguish that. All right, doors are closed. Here is our tug cart, so that we can bounce up out of here, guys. Let me get some wonderful hydration going on here. So once they say we can start engines, we'll do it.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Let's get those instrument lights turned up.
Windshield trap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
All right, let's go ahead and release that parking brake, which you'll see here. Parking brake is released. You guys know what that means. Got to come over here and put this bad boy on. Bada bing, bada boom. And let's check our taxi route out, which is not significant at all. We're going to get pushed back. We're going to do Alpha. We'll join Alpha. Looks like to Alpha 5, because we don't want hotels. So Alpha to Alpha 5. All right, you heard the man. You can start engines. So let's get the conditioners to the start position.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the flight.
And let us get out of here. Let's see, we have our beacon on. And let's go check the right side. Right side is clear. So we're calling out starting the right engine.
We suggest that you single fasten throughout the entire flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you.
Operation
Press flow of
complete.
oxygen
Set
will
parking
mount
brake.
towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band
Disconnecting
on the
to
head.
standby.
Head strap is necessary
All
to
right.
breathe normally. Although
That
the bag
engine
is
looks
not
like it's
complete,
up and
oxygen is
coming.
flowing
Let's
through
go
the mask.
ahead and make
If
it
your
on and popping for the
travel
next
someone
one.
who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the straps behind you. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If it doesn't inflate automatically, you may blow into the mouth for manual inflation. The vest is clipped with a whistle.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here soon enough.
So is disconnected. Unbike vest has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the seat
All right.
located in the seat back.
And that one's balancing out. Let's go ahead and get those generators on.
If you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
All right. That generator is on. Let's check the prop area once again because we're going to take it out of feather. So you'll hear the bad boys come up. All right, she should be coming out of feather. Now you can see the green beta light has came on. Let's get our flap set. Avionics got to come back on now. And let's get our valves back up. All right, that is reset. Of course, we're going to get our props to normal. On, bada bing, bada boom. And we already got that standby pitot heat on. Everything else up top is looking good. Of course, now we got to go to our propeller. We got to get that auto coursing on. And of course, we have to come down here and get our CTOT on. And everything else is good to go. Let's make sure we're on Unicom. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's bring this back. And we understand our taxi. We're just coming Alpha 5, guys. And that's it. And we have our departure all set up, ready to go, guys. We're on the navigation. Let's make sure our HSI is on the navigation page. It's connected to the nav, brother. Duluth traffic, Silver Wings 318. Push back from the terminal, and we'll be taxiing to runway 27 for departure out to the west via Alpha 5 for Duluth traffic. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do this. Taxi light on. Boom, boom, boom. Everything up top looks good, guys. And let's just check our panel over here. Of course, we got to go back to the first officer side. We want to put this pressurization. It's in the auto already. And all right. And we just got it ready for departure. Here we go, guys. All right, guys. Parking brake is released. And don't forget, we got to get that gust lock off. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Aileron left, aileron right, neutral, and we're going to do our rudder movements here in a second. Okay, this will be Alpha 5 right here. Blue traffic, Silver Wings 318 now entering runway 27, immediate departure out to the west of traffic. All All right, guys, you know, there's one more thing we got to do. All right, we'll reset that once we get on the runway. Parking brake released. Strobes on. Final does look clear. All right, let's touch on those brakes really quick. Let us reset the trip timer. Let's get our props all the way up. Brakes are released. Advancing takeoff power nice and smooth. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive. Crossing 80 knots, cross check. 100 knots. V1. And rotate. All right. Positive rate, gears coming up, yaw dampers coming on. All right, guys, it's hand flying. First stage of flaps coming up. Climb power. Second stage of flaps coming up. Autopilot has been engaged successfully. Flaps up and clean. Landing gear is up and clean. Aircraft is climbing. Now we're going to keep landing lights on. Turn the taxi light off. Duluth traffic, Silver Wings 318 is clear of runway 27 out to the west. Climbing up unrestricted, 16,000 Duluth traffic. All right, guys. Now let's also come over here now that we've achieved what we did. And let's put it into the indicated airspeed climb. Before we get out and do our shenanigans, let's look at the map here. And map, we are direct to our waypoint. It was a straight west departure, and we are on the way to Bemidji, Minnesota, guys. Welcome aboard. Once again, if you're just joining the stream, to Silver Wings 318, full service from St. Paul, Minnesota, all the way to Rochester, Minnesota via Bemidji with, Duluth with one stop and Bemidji with one stop. So let's go out and do our trusty flyby. All right, and for the time being, I can get the controls off for you. I'm gonna bring our indicated airspeed and climb back to 180 so that the bird can climb efficiently. Once it gets past 10,000. I'll be glad when we're out of the zone to get that tone that we're getting. That's just a nav beacon tone. I could inhibit it. Probably using, let's see here. This is nav 2. You can inhibit the noise with this, even though we just left it, but it's no big deal to me. This marker button too here. Okay, so it's this one. See how you're not going to hear the noise now? We just inhibited it. All right. Doing well. Let's go ahead and check what we got going on here. Okay, ignitions can come to normal. Auto coursing can come off. Prop sync, which is right here, can come on. And the CTOT can come off as well. All right, guys. Again, gear up. Flaps up and clean. CTOT auto coursing off. And prop sync is on. The after takeoff checklist is most certainly complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may now turn on your larger portable.
All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that stop in Bemidji. Now we are most certainly on our way. I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed that stop to Duluth. Now we are most certainly on our way to Bemidji, Minnesota. Let's get you guys a little look out here, and I need to start making concessions for my next flight plan. Once we finish our climb, we'll go ahead and do what we need to do with the FMS. I had forgot to connect to VATSIM, so we just did again. So we're connected on the VATSIM. No ATC, so no big deal. All right, guys, so we're up and on the way. Hope you guys are still doing well. Thank you guys for hanging out. Looks like Rochester will be our longest flight. I'm just getting the flight plan ready for our next go here. And of course we need to be better about too putting our minimums in, which we didn't put our minimums on the last one. So last flight is only 1 hour and 8 minutes. So yeah, I think we'll be good. I think we will be good to go here. All right, this is my business partner texting a few things. Fuel is going to be the same, 2,800 pounds. And flying time will be 1 hour and 8 minutes. All right. Let me check you guys out in the chat, see how you guys are doing and feeling. You guys are all quiet and everyone's chilling, so I hope you guys are enjoying this wonderful flight. We had some issues last time with the stream, but I figured out because some of the Navigraph files were corrupted, it caused the sim to crash. So that was a bummer, but I deleted it. So a lot of you, if you didn't even get notified of it, you'll never know it even happened because I deleted it off the channel. But it did happen, you know, more simmer issues. All right, let's take a look at this ILS here. Let's look at the bottom for our decision height. So the decision height should be 1589 here. This is only a localizer, but this is if we're shooting the ILS here. So 1589 is the decision height. Now the question is, where do we put that thing here in this aircraft? This is for weather stuff. Okay, here it is up here. Let's turn this. Okay, there we go. So we said decision height is 1589. Decision height 1589 right there. So it's in there, guys.
Gentlemen, due to the short duration of this flight, we will not be able to offer in-flight service.
Okay, so we are in our cruising mode now. Now remember where we like to put the props. Right at 1250. Props are at 1250. And we can utilize a little bit more power to get up to our speed. And now we need to go in here and figure out what our top of descent is looking at. So same thing, utilities. And we're going to go with the VNav. And this thing doesn't let you do anything yet. It's not letting us get it because the approach is not activated yet. So let's go back here and let's go to the map actually and look at the old map. So basically once we get to this Yabri, and you can see some awesome lakes we're going to be passing here. Look at all these lakes here in Minnesota, guys. Obviously that's why it's a land of 10,000 lakes, and I'm telling you, we got some sinkholes here as well. Okay, so I'm thinking at Yorby we can go direct to Kosovo, but we just need to see what the minimum safe altitudes are. So I'm gonna need to go to flight Sky Vector really quick. Alright, I'm just hooking up Sky Vector right now so I can see what our minimum safe altitudes are and our route. Alright, just getting the VFR chart. Now we can take a look and see what our minimum safe altitudes are. So the good thing is we can start our descent whenever we want, simply because there is basically no altitude that is going to be higher than the 3200 as far as our minimum safe altitude. So we're good to go. And roughly they're all at least 1,000 under, which typically they want you 2,000 over. So I think we'll be good to go there, guys. Keyshawn Christopher says, good night, bro. Safe flight. I'm going to play X-Plane. There you go, Keyshawn Christopher. Thanks for checking in, my man. Okay, so let's come back here. And so we'll take Yorby and we'll make that like 4,500 feet. Maybe 5,000. Now we can go over here to our utilities, and it should show up in the VNav. And we'll do 1,800 feet. And now that gives us 2 minutes and 15 seconds to descend to Yorby. So at 5,000 feet. To be at 5,000, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so let's get back on this flight plan and figure out everything we're doing. Because basically from Yorby, then we're going to be going direct to Kosovo. Anywhere after Yorby. And I'm putting 5,000 here. We could probably do... Let's see what our distances are between each of the waypoints here. Okay, 18 to Yorby, and then from Yorby to Buchanan is 32, so we can use that as a reference for DME. Okay, so from here to here is 32, so 15 is right here. So if that's 15, we can assume this is another 15 right here. And even though we're not getting the vertical track, that's okay. We got another 15 miles to play with, so. We're gonna do about 1,500 feet per minute down. Nothing crazy. Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318, currently direct Yorby. Out of 16,000 feet, descending down to 5,000 feet, expecting full stop runway 31 for Bemidji traffic. All right, I'm just pulling that power back. And let's go ahead and do our... Let's go ahead and do our check here to see what the weather's like. All right, so flight aware is a little bit offline right now, so we'll choose a different website. So altimeter is 3012. All right, and we are DME 11 to Yorbury, so we can probably easily bring this to 3200 now, which is our requirement for our initial approach fix. I just gave us a little bit more pitch down. All right, we're at 10,000 feet, folks. Oops. Landing lights can come on. Actually, we never took them off, but now they're back on for real. All right, guys, so this is our next stop in today's route, which is Bemidji, Minnesota, guys. Bemidji, Minnesota coming up. Captain Geo in the house. What's going on, Captain Geo? Hope you're doing well, man. We just doing some general aviation flying. We're gonna get back to some jets later on this week. But we everybody's streaming the few of the newer aircrafts that came out. So I figured, man, I'm just gonna stream this, get some training in this Saab 340.
We have begun our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
All right, we slowed our descent down a little bit. Nice and calm over here over Minnesota today, guys. A massive lake right here. You guys see that body of water right here? Let's check and see what lake that is. Lake Winnie Bigoshish. What a name right there, guys. Man, I'm getting hungry. All right, so at this point, we are most certainly going to go direct to Kosovo. And we have Kosovo in 30 nautical miles. All right, still keep that descent nice and easy. Now we need to come over here to our charts, of course, guys, and we're landing on localizer ILS 3.1, so we definitely need to get that information in there so we can come over to our airport information frequencies, and we'll go see. Here's ILS 3.1. Click it. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we have ILS 3.1 in there, which is 1190. And we most certainly need to also put our runway heading in there. Yeah, which is the approach course heading. So on this one, you can see it's 313. So we're going to do something really quick here. So I'm going to put it in the heading mode really quick. And then we can come down here and put this in the map mode, change the CDI. Come over here, and now we need to put our heading onto 313. It'll be about right there. It's 300. All right. that should literally be at 313 right there. Okay guys, so now we can come back over here, put this back on the GPS, and put the lateral navigation back in. No change, but now what we do is we have our heading all situated for our arrival. And we're now at the 3,200 feet. With 21 nautical miles to go in there, so we don't need to be extremely slow. But that's what we're doing, guys. Bada bing, bada boom. So we'll keep our speed up. And let us, not that the music was extremely loud anyway, but let's shut it down. All right, let's pick up on that speed a little bit. There's no need to belabor getting in there. And of course, last thing we need to check. So we can see here, touchdown elevation is 1389. So I believe definitely higher than Duluth. And let's see what it's going to look like once we get off of the runway 31, all the way down, back taxi, cross runway 8 or 7 as you were, and then the terminals, the intersection of Alpha and Bravo right here, and we'll bring it in. So let's get back onto our approach here. And this is essentially right here where we're getting the ILS there. See that AGL, we are about below 2,000 AGL right now. You can see that right here. "12 nautical miles to go, so we should start having a visual of that field out there somewhere. We'll turn direct here in a second. See if we can come over to the first officer side and check it out. Alright, still no visual, but we'll keep that in mind. Alright guys, we're reeling it in, man. Now Leech Lake, I remember Leech Lake here, so that's a good sized lake here. Driving into Bemidji, you definitely navigate Leech Lake and you definitely see it. So here's another one of the large lakes here in Minnesota. Obviously, Lake Superior being one of the Great Lakes in the Duluth area is going to be the largest. That is also shared, obviously, not just by Minnesota, but I believe Canada and other surrounding states. So that's Leech Lake right there, guys. Alright, that should be about 313. That should be identical to our last turn here, so we can go ahead and get the approach armed. And we are looking good. So let me check you guys out in the chat here. And we are on final, almost about to start our final approach into the Bemidji area. And looking at this and the time, we might even make this our last stop for the day, guys. We might not be even going to Rochester, to be honest with you. I'll figure it out on the replay. I got to get out of my seat and make a call here, but I'll figure it out on the replay. But if not, this potentially could be our last stop here today, guys. Into the Bemidji area, guys. Got about 2 miles until we start our turn. Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318 is a Saab S340. We'll be joining final here in 1 nautical miles. We'll be direct to the initial approach fix for runway 31, expecting full stop. All right, heading mode. And now we're gonna come and center that CDI, and now we can go ahead and put that approach on. So localizer is already captured, guys, which is what we wanted. Now we're going to slow the bird down substantially. Alright, so we have captured the ILS. You can see the runway is right over here in this direction. Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318 has turned to final approach, and we'll be expecting full stop runway 31 for Bemidji traffic. Alright, flaps coming down. And let's go ahead and get you guys some flight controls on here. Bada bing, bada boom, flight controls are good to go. And we're slowing her down. Let's go ahead and get those conditioners up. Max, we're gonna get the auto feather off. And we need the CTOT all the way on, as well as the auto coursing. Landing lights are all on. And nose is pretty level. We're going to be doing a flaps 20 touchdown as well again, guys. Drop that nose a little bit, throw in some more power. Okay, guys, we are ready for a landing. We just need to wait for our glide slope, of course. You can see that nose kind of balance itself down there. Now we're flying pretty much level. Alright, 4, so we're roughly 10-mile final. Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318 on a 10-mile final for runway 31, full stop, Bemidji traffic. Alright, guys, let me check you out in the chat. Uno vez más. And you guys are all doing good, man, so let's go ahead and get this bird in. And this is probably, like I said, more than likely going to be our last stop. We are not, even though I just did the flight plan and everything, life happens. So we're going to get in here. This will be our last stop, guys, for the day. And touch her down nice and soft, hopefully, and be done for our flying for today in Minnesota. And the next flight, we'll see where we get that out of. But yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that each state, doing a little bit of general aviation flying in that state. We'll see how that works out. Alright, we can actually see that this is on the move, guys. So once it gets to the second dot, we'll go ahead and drop the landing gear and get the last stage of flaps in there. Pulling that power back now. Landing gear is coming down. Glide slope is captured. Landing gear is down, 3 green. Final stage of flaps is selected and now indicated. Alright guys, yaw dampers off, autopilot's off, my controls.
Flight.
Alright guys, definitely a much better landing than the other one, even though the other one was a good landing. We landed at negative 182. Just gonna roll it out a little further here. Alright, reverse free. Welcome it into Bemidji, Minnesota, guys. Welcome it into Bemidji, Minnesota. And not a bad touchdown. Applying manual brakes. Bringing those props back a little bit.
Gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 12:36 p.m. and it's currently about 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft comes to a complete stop and then seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening your overhead bins. Items may have shifted during the flight.
Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318 is clear of runway 31, back taxiing the terminal via Alpha for Bemidji traffic. Alright guys, flaps are coming up. And again guys, welcome to Bemidji. So we'll just do a nice little back taxi, and that might call it for a day. Zachy D said butter time, close enough. We got a negative 180, so we got a great landing. First one was acceptable, this one was butter. So we'll definitely take it, guys. Welcome to Duluth, Minnesota. And this will be our final stop today here on the channel. Got auto coursing off. We'll do another replay, guys, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Thank you, everybody, for flying along. And we got 2 good legs in us. But business calls, so I'll have to get my mind right for that. Again, thanks for flying along with us today, guys, here for Silver Wings 318. This is not your final destination. It will be today unless you're getting on a different aircraft. We will not be going to Rochester on another leg. We'll just do these 2 and call it a day, guys. Bemidji traffic, Silver Wings 318 is on Alpha, crossing runway 25, taxi to terminal, Bemidji traffic. Alright, runway looks clear. You guys can see the terminals right here. Alright, so we'll go over to this one over to the right. Gonna come right over here and stop her. Alright, parking brake is set. And we'll bring those props down the feather. And let's get our generators off. Avionics. Now we can come here. That to standby. Bada bing, bada boom. And engines can come all the way off, folks. And welcome it in. We just did our own park it however we want to do it. Welcome it into Bemidji, Minnesota, our final stop here, guys. Now we're going to go ahead and just get off of VATSIM and get right into the replay and call it a night, guys, here on the channel. At least with this flight. If by some miracle I came back another time, that's exactly what it would be. It would be a miracle. If I came back on again tonight, I just wanted to really get this done. All right, guys, let's see what this replay is talking about. definitely a better flare on this one. Definitely, indubitably, and for sure. Pretty much center line, great landing. Just a little bit of a hop. No big deal. Let's run that back. All right, one more run back and then we'll ride it out. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining me here on this stream. I hope you guys stay well. I hope you enjoyed this general aviation or smaller airport flying here in this Saab S340. As always, you know, thank you guys for joining the channel and for all of the support. And we'll definitely look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Take care and God bless.
Don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink.